Right, so clearly a day for the MPP and the NDC to make their case. And I guess you in the middle will have the opportunity to make meaning out of what they are telling us this today, Tuesday. The MPP is also getting ready to hold a news conference to react to what we've been told by the NDC, and they are making some demands. My colleague Papanim is at the MPP headquarters, and he joins us as we prepare to bring you live that news conference. Papanim, so are they set and ready to react to the MPP, the NDC claims? Right, so we're trying to get in touch with Papani for, he is at the MPP headquarters here at Asylum Down for their version of events that we've been told this afternoon by the NDC. And they've made it clear that Godfrey Dame, the Attorney General Minister of Justice, should resign or President Akufo-Addo should fire him. They are also demanding that he is taken through the disciplinary process of the General Legal Council with the aim of, stripping him off of his role as a lawyer. And of course, they also demanded a parliamentary probe into allegations of judicial manipulation by the Attorney General and Minister of Justice. And they made this point after, playing to the public an audio recording, a telephone conversation, according to the NDC, took place between third accused in the ambulance case, Jakwa, and of course, the other person they described as the Attorney General Minister for Justice, Godfrey Yeboah-Dame, where they claimed that Godfrey Yeboah-Dame was trying to get Jakwa to implicate the minority leader, who is the first accused in the ambulance trial, so that government can have a way of prosecuting him for causing financial loss to the state to the tune of 2.3 million euros. Now, we are yet to get a reaction from the MPP, more importantly, a reaction from the Attorney General's office. But when we brought you what transpired in court today, the Deputy AG, Afrituan Yeboah, says that the AG is focused on his job. They describe it as mere allegations, but allegations that and the NDC has provided some substance to it, and that is what the MPP is planning to also react to. And we have that reaction coming your way pretty shortly. Let me see if I can re-establish communication with Papani, who is at the MPP headquarters. Papani, if you can hear me, is the party ready for the news conference? Yes, Papani, if you can hear me, is the MPP ready for their reaction to what the NDC has told the Republic?
Yes, Elton, we understand that in a matter of minutes, some senior members of the party will be joining the likes of Frank Davis, where they are expected to respond to some of the allegations made by the NDC in a press conference that they held just a few minutes ago. Let's just share some details from this particular presser as we know it. So we know that primarily they will be addressing the allegations from the NDC. But who exactly will be addressing this? Well, according to the details they have shared, lawyer Frank Davis, who's part of their legal team, will be taking the podium this afternoon to address some of the scathing allegations made by the chairman of the NDC. Well, we understand, though they advertised that it's going to be at exactly 4 p.m., we understand that the likes of Nana B is on his way and will almost be here. And immediately he gets here, that announcement or the press conference will be underway in a moment from now.
So you take that this is the party responding to the NDC or the government responding to the NDC? What vibe are you getting?
Well, as it stands now, it is advertised that the NPP will be the ones responding to some allegations made by the NDC. We don't get the impression that this will be the stance of government itself, but this will be that of the NPP.
Very much so. We'll touch base with you. The party is ready to tell us what they make of the NDC allegation and their own version of events going forward, because this is clearly a very serious matter that affects the integrity of the Attorney General's office if the NDC allegation is made to stand and is proven to be the truth. And of course, a reaction from the MPP, and then we can interrogate these matters. But already, even before the NDC news conference, even before the NDC news conference and the matters that happened in court last week, some commentators, including a former director of the Ghana Law School, they made it clear that Attorney General should go. We don't know what their reaction will be now that they've been made aware of what the NDC considers to be evidence backing their claim. And again, they are demanding, they made 4 strong demands after playing the tape after playing the tape and establishing their points. And I mean, so those are a summary of the things the NDC they are demanding. They are demanding the dismissal of the Attorney General and Minister for Justice, Godfrey Yeboah-Dame. They are also demanding his prosecution. And then they say that President Akufo-Addo, if Godfrey Yeboah-Dame does not resign, President Akufo-Addo should fire him. But in the event that that does not happen, a future NDC government will do so. And that's one demand they've making. They are also asking for the commencement of investigation and disbarment. Commencement by the General Legal Counsel for misconduct, for witness tampering, and other things that, according to the NDC, violates the very establishment of the laws, of the rules and regulations governing the legal profession. And so they are demanding that there should be some kind of investigation and disbursement of Godfrey Yeboah-Dame from practicing as a lawyer. And then they go on to say that the immediate prosecution, I've spoken about it, multiple violations of the laws of Ghana, and they make it clear that should President Akufo-Addo fail to do so, a future NDC government will do so. Commencement of disciplinary proceedings by the General Legal Counsel, Godfrey Dame, and his disbursement for conduct unbecoming of a lawyer. And then finally they say that a televised parliamentary inquiry, public one of course, into this and other reports of judicial manipulation by Godfrey Dame, with a view to ensure Godfrey Dame to prevent the recurrence of such judicial manipulation. So this is the NDC's demands after the news conference. Their claim is that these damning revelations call into question the integrity of the case, of the prosecution in the ongoing ambulance trial, and the necessity for same. Godfrey Dame, according to the NDC, has brought shame and disrepute to the Honorable Office of the Attorney General with his criminal, devious, and vicious conduct. According to the NDC, he is a danger to fairness and justice in our judicial system and represent the lowest point in the history of persons who have occupied the hallowed office of Attorney General and Minister of Justice. And whilst they have pointed many times that Godfrey Dame epitomizes all that is inherently wrong in vesting both the office of the Attorney General and the Minister of Justice the same person, the NDC believe that he has recklessly abused both offices and his continuous stay in office is no longer tenable. So these are some of the issues that the NDC they have put forth, and of course we will have the MPP reaction come through shortly. But let's take reactions from lawyers. Lawyer Nipapo Samoado, good afternoon, welcome to the Pulse. Scandalized, surprised, or business as usual? What's your reaction to what you've heard from the NDC quarters?
Yeah, good afternoon. It's disturbing. But I've always operated on the principle that you have to hear from there's a principle of law, anyway.
Right.
You must hear both sides of an issue before you pass judgment. So we've heard from one side. We've put forward the evidence in support of their allegation. And we have various avenues and institutions that deal with such matters. So I'm sure that even in the absence of a formal petition for investigation, there are bodies who definitely must be concerned with the issues that have been raised.
Right.
Typical of them is the Ghana Bar Association. And I do expect that the Ghana Bar Association would speak to the issue. You understand? And will give us leadership in respect of how we must proceed from here. So I'm sure I'm not the only one who call on the Ghana Bar Association and its leadership to come out and give us leadership in respect of how we will proceed. Because clearly, the matters raised must be investigated, and we need clarity if the allegations are false or if they do not constitute any of the things that have been put forth, then clearly somebody's reputation has been unfairly treated.
Right.
But if the allegations are true, then there are consequences within the context of both ethical and even possibly legal ramifications. So I would wait for the Ghana Bar Association, which is the mother body of all lawyers, to come out and give us some direction as to how things should be. So I'm hoping you will reach out to the Ghana Bar Association, public relations officers, and the national officers. I'm sure they will give us the leadership on how we shall proceed with this particular matter.
We are yet to hear response from the Attorney General. The claim is that the NDC is claiming he's the one on the other side of the telephone conversation with the third accused.
In such matters, I have always had the principle that you have to hear both sides.
Right.
Understand? So I believe that I hear the NPP hold a press conference. Hear them. And then when you hear them, and then we hear from the Ghana Bar Association, right?
Right.
Yes, because this is a matter that borders on the entire legal profession, and even to some extent the judiciary. Even the judicial secretary would definitely have to speak to the matter involved, because a sitting judge has been mentioned. You understand? So we expect to hear from the relevant bodies, and I think you as the media have a responsibility to reach out to these bodies and to ask them whether they have heard of these matters and what their reactions are.
Ethical issues have been raised. Does this find expression in the context within which these matters have been presented?
That is why I say we are very regulated institution. We do not just get up and do things the way we want. So we have the Ghana Bar. You understand? They are the mother body of all lawyers. And so when a serious matter like this, which touches on both the bar and the judiciary, the Ghana Bar Association has to provide leaders. They have to speak to the matters and give us direction as to how things must proceed. The justice of the Supreme Court name has been bandied about. So clearly, you may want to also hear from the judicial secretary as to how the judiciary is looking at this matter. You understand? And taking it from there. So you should reach out to these persons and let's hear from them first. Then we, the common people, can pass our comments about what it is that is ongoing. So as it is now, it is a bit early just to hear one side of the story and then get up and start making conclusions. You understand? Because if you do that, then you don't have the ability to then pass any further comment because you've already taken a side. I want to hear from the Ghana Bar Association and from the Judicial Secretary. They will provide for me the roadmap as to how to deal with this. If they tell us that this is much ado about nothing, then we can now make our own informed comment. You understand? But where they have not spoken, it will be a bit premature for some of us to express our opinions on these particular issues.
But the danger this portends is the image it will have for fairness, justice, and the judiciary.
That is why the Ghana Bar Association and the Judicial Secretary must speak to the matters that have been put out. You understand? More especially the Ghana Bar Association.
Right. Lawyer Nick Papo, thank you very much for these initial comments. This story is developing a life of its own, and I'm sure that just like you've made it clear, I'm sure they themselves will have to come out as we wait to hear the MPP's reaction to this very, important matter that has been raised by the NDC. And of course, there you have it. That's the MPP headquarters. And we'll take you live to the MPP headquarters soon. The party is ready to react to the NDC allegation of, judicial manipulation leveled against the Attorney General Minister for Justice, Godfrey Yeboah damming. And that was the news conference we brought to you early on. And we're keeping an eye on the MPP. Whenever they are ready, we'll bring you that news bite. But we can do some other stories now before we take you live to the MPP headquarters for their reaction to the NDC. The NDC the NDC national chair was the one who addressed the news conference, Johnson Asiedu. They made some key demands, 4 of them: resignation of Godfrey Debo Adame. They also demanding some probe by Parliament into allegation of judicial manipulation and other matters that they have been making. And so we'll take you live to the MPP headquarters for their reaction on this matter. We'll take a short break here on the pause. So we'll go to the MPP headquarters, but before we do that, some first-time voters living with varied forms of disabilities are pushing for free tertiary education policy to be instituted as various political parties prepare to launch their manifesto ahead of the 2024 general election. These young voters face unique challenges in accessing higher education, from financial barriers to physical accessibility. Free tertiary education, they argue, will alleviate some of these burdens and provide equal opportunities for all. These marginalized individuals in society believe strongly that free tertiary education is crucial for their empowerment and inclusion. Listen to the interaction with Joy Prime's Lois Shola Adeyemi on just turned 18.
For instance, is someone's father who is taking care of me in the tertiary institution. So, and I have a friend too in Adidome Senior High School who is a visually impaired. You have to go for fishing before he can come to school. So, saying this, those are the things that will influence me, because if not, he, for instance, cannot attend university. Yeah.
Anybody else agreeing with what Foster has said, that the education system that he said is, made suitable for persons with disabilities not working as it should?
Yes, I also agree with him, because some people having disabilities graduate the secondary school with very good grades, but there's no one to support them. And Ghana, it's very difficult for you as a person with disability to get a side job, which you can use to pay your university fees and hostel fees. So if the government makes education free for people with disability, I think it is very good. So it will actually influence our decision.
Okay, I'm not that okay. Yeah, because even though things are or measures are put in place to make education easy for us to achieve, but so there are some things that we need, or we need the government to do to us. Like, for instance, the car equipment that assist us or help us to live, or to be able to live as the special needs students. Some of them, they are too expensive. For instance, my wheelchair like this, so when you want to get it, there is a huge sum of money that before you get special needs students, that we need support from friends, family, and the government. In fact, the whole community, we need support from them. And our equipment, they are too expensive to our affordability. I don't understand it. So if the government can put some measures in place to make the gadget or the equipment this thing affordable to us, I'll be happy about it.
We, the marginalized in society, tend to be sidelined during the extended term of a political party. By getting to elections, then they remember us and come with many promises. I would pay attention to what I believe is feasible and very applicable to me, and that would assist me in making my decision to vote. So these are the 3 things I'll look out for.
Okay. Now let me come to you, my darling Esther. Tell me.
Okay, so 3 things that would make me to vote is, I think, adequate infrastructures that are accessible to persons with disability, because in the university there are lots of infrastructures that are not accessible, so sometimes you finding your way to lectures becomes difficult. So when they take note of this, I think I would vote.
So that's those who are just turning 18 and the concerns they have ahead of the December 7th general election. But talking about elections, former President John Mahama said his next NDC government will cancel the payment of electricity, fuel, and other incentive to top government officials to save the country money. The NDC flag bearer indicated that only when a government vehicle is in use on government-sponsored program will that vehicle be provided with fuel.
And we'll stop the endless tax audits and harassment by IOCO. We know that a lot of businesses, almost every year, there are some businesses that have a tax audit twice a year, and there are some who have been referred to IOCO because GRA suddenly wakes up and says, for the last 5 years, you were paying less than you should pay, and so you've evaded tax, and so IOCO should investigate you. We're not going to do that. We're going to set up a customer-friendly tax regime so that people feel happy to go to the GRA to pay their taxes. We will introduce measures that will stop our government and any future governments from wasting state funds, such as reducing the number of ministers and appointees, merging ministerial portfolios, will review and eliminate ex gratia payments in their current form. We'll also merge state agencies. There are several state agencies that are duplicating each other. And so where the functions are the same, we will bring them together and merge them. We'll discontinue the payment of utility bills, fuel, DSTV, etc. as conditions of service for top government officials, directors, and the political class. We believe that people should take up paying their own electricity bills and water like every other Ghanaian does. And unless you're using a government vehicle on government assignment, you should buy your own fuel if you're using your own car. And so we're going to discontinue that. Our budget will be to support small businesses and use tax as incentives for job creation.
Welcome back to the show. This is The Pulse, and of course, we're still waiting to hear from the MPP at the MPP headquarters. But the NDC, they've made their point very clear, and they've made 4 solid demands. They've also provided what according to them, provide enough grounds for the removal of the Attorney General Minister for Justice Godfrey Ademem, and further, strip him off of his title as a lawyer. I mean, the rules and regulations governing the legal profession is quite clear on matters of this nature. Thankfully, Sammy Gyamfi is a communication officer of the NDC. Last week, you made it clear that you are preparing yourself to give us evidence to back these claims, and you did just that today. 4 conditions or 4 demands that you are making today. Run us through them, and how early do you want these, demands met?
The first is the immediate and unconditional resignation or dismissal of the dishonorable Attorney General Godfrey Ademem, because clearly his conduct, as can be heard on the tape we play today, and the other pieces of evidence we adduce, show that he is unfit to occupy that high and hallowed office of Attorney General. Now, any person who goes about tempering witnesses, suborning witnesses, persuading witnesses to lie or deceive a court of competent jurisdiction, or to fabricate evidence and all that, is criminally minded and lacks the character, the integrity that an important office of Attorney General and Minister of Justice requires. Because that position is a very important position. You know that the prosecutorial powers of states under Article 88 of the Supreme Law of the land are all vested in one person, the Attorney General and Minister of Justice. He's very powerful. He has a lot of discretionary power. He can change your destiny in a split second. And therefore, we cannot allow a man who has proven to be bereft of integrity and honor, a man who does not subscribe and adhere to the ethics of the legal profession, the code of ethics of prosecutors to occupy such an important position. And so we are saying he should resign now, or that the president should fire him. Number 2, we've also demanded a full-blown, publicly televised parliamentary inquiry. You know that members of parliament have the power to censure any minister of state who violates the Constitution or their oath of office. Clearly, Dame has violated his oath of office and the 1992 Constitution. He has engaged in crime. He has engaged in unprofessional conduct. And we are saying that if the president refuses to remove him, this matter should be probed, not just this matter, but other allegations of judicial manipulations by this Attorney General. Because if he can do this, who knows what he can do? The desperate lengths he can go just to pervert the course of justice. Let's probe all of that and censure him. Parliament has that power. Number 3, we are calling for the immediate commencement of disciplinary proceedings by the General Legal Council, the body that has supervision over lawyers in this country, to hold Godfrey Dame liable, to first of all investigate that matter, give him a right to be heard, and to go into the issues. And if he is culpable, to impose the necessary sanctions on him, because Rule 13 is clear: a lawyer cannot or is not supposed to communicate to a represented party on the blind side of the lawyer of the represented party. You need, at all material times, the consent of the lawyer, or the ideal situation is to communicate with the lawyer, because the represented party is not a lawyer. That is a presumption. And so you, as a lawyer, can take advantage of him if you engage in any negotiations or discussions with him. And that is why our ethics as lawyers enjoin us to go through the lawyer once he's represented. He didn't do that. He has engaged this accused person, Mr. Jakpa, on countless occasions. Some on WhatsApp, some in phone call conversations, some in physical meetings, and today we demonstrated that to you.
I have some few questions.
But let me just end. So there is a disciplinary proceedings because of the breach of Rule 13, Rule 14, Rule 54.
And that you want the General Legal Council to take
to investigate. Then the motion of censorship by Parliament, which will lead to a publicly televised probe, his immediate resignation, or dismissal. And we have also demanded his arrest and prosecution, because he is heard on tape telling an accused person who doubles as a witness before a court of competent jurisdiction to fabricate, forge a medical excuse duty when he knew that that accused person was healthy. He says, go and forge it, go and deceive a court so that I can get an opportunity to travel.
At this stage, because you are a lawyer, I mean, you allow me, if I play around words and say that because the Attorney General has not come out to deny or accept that the voice is his, we will play on the assumption that this is an allegation against the Attorney General.
Well, you can call it an allegation, but I won't call it an allegation in the sense that in court, you see, this matter is not something that just emerged in the media. You know, the last week, Thursday, the 23rd of May, Mr. Jakpa, the third accused, was cross-examined by lawyers for the first accused, Honorable Atuforsen, right? And in court, the third accused boldly told the court that the Attorney General has been calling and meeting him at odd hours, impressing on him to skew his testimony, answer questions in a way that implicates the first accused. And he has told him that he cannot do that in good conscience because he knows that what the Attorney General wants him to do is untenable, it is false.
We heard the word.
So that evidence.
We heard the word about. Hold on. Do you accept the deal? I don't know what deal the Attorney General was talking about.
So that evidence is not part of the record, and the Attorney General knows the rules of evidence. Section 6 is clear. If he thought that evidence was scandalous, vexatious, whatever, the laws allow him to object, and the rule says object timeously. He did not object, and so that is part of the record. And so this being a public proceeding, we can rely on that record. And we have gone further to give you the further and better particulars. That is the hardcore evidence. So this is no longer an allegation. We have all the proof. He can't dispute any. If he disputes, he will have to tell 10 lies to justify every one lie he tells, because we have abundance of evidence. What we have released today is just the tip of the iceberg. Now you were asking me.
I was asking because I didn't hear him clearly say Kesa Atuforsen or mention the other name. What I heard him say was that, I mean, just accept the deal.
Yeah.
I don't know which deal he was talking about. Who in reference this deal reflects.
So he says on the tape that if you accept
the deal.
No, if you accept this, it creates no difficulty for you. If you accept the deal, at another place he said if you accept the deal. Then at a certain point, when he was impressing on the third accused said, you mean the way you want me to answer the questions or go about it? He said, let's take it like that. The way I want you to go about it. then you see them referring to his position, the deal, accept this, right? Now, if you listen to the full conversation, you get a context. The context is what Jakpa says. That the reason, his difficulty in accepting the deal, which is to testify and answer questions in the way the Attorney General wants him to do, is that it will help the states secure the conviction of an innocent man. And that his conscience cannot allow him to do that.
This is Japa.
Yes, because
not the Attorney General.
Yes, because he knows the man is innocent. And the Attorney General continues. The Attorney General said, no, I'm not talking about the first accused. Exactly. So, of course, he knows that he's... Because, you see, as we speak, there are only 2 accused persons. Jakpa or Atoforsen. So, if... Jakpa and Atoforsen, first accused and third accused. The second accused, former Chief Director of the Ministry of Health, has been, acquitted, not discharged. No, the state, I think, entered nolli prosequi, discontinuing the case against him. So the point here is that if he was engaged in that conversation with Jakpa on the 9th of April, when there were only 2 accused persons, who were they discussing?
Assumption.
It's not assumption. It's not assumption because they are talking about letters of credit. And he wants him to testify in a certain way about those letters of credit. And the guy is educating the AG that your understanding of the effect of this letter of credit is wrong. And that those who did this letter of credit did nothing wrong. Because the letter of credit is only security. It is not payment. It has condition precedents. It is only when the condition precedents are fulfilled that the seller can activate for payment.
Right.
The AG, this is trite. Everybody knows this. Yet the AG was still, insisting that he accepts his position, which the accused person says, I know this to be false. I can't accept it. Who wrote the letter for those letters of credit to be established? It's Atoforsen.
Right.
So if you wanted him to give false testimony that he himself knew to be false about the letters of credit, who was he trying to implicate? Atoforsen. So it is not assumption at all.
Right. So you again, I come back to you because you are a lawyer. So how do you situate this conversation between the AG and Japa, knowing very well that there had been an attempt for a plea bargaining, which from what the chairman of the party said, this conversation took place in April 2024, months or years before the plea bargaining had been on the table. Exactly. So the Japa himself wanted...
So what that shows you is that the AG has been lying to the public all along, and that is why he cannot be trusted.
But there are evidence pointing to the fact that letters had been written asking for the plea bargain.
Hold on. I'll come to plea bargain. First of all, when this matter broke in court, the AG issued a statement. At paragraph 2 of that statement, on the 23rd of May, on last week Thursday, they stated that the states and the AG have never met any of the accused persons.
Right.
Neither have they sought their cooperation in any way. Those were the operative words in the press statement. Now we've shown you the evidence that they've met. The cooperation, everything was there. You've seen the evidence. Then they come back and tell another lie, contradicting the first lie. That, it was a Supreme Court judge. This is according to the spokesperson of the AG, who invited the AG to his house.
And we heard a name in the recording.
And unknown to the AG, Jakpa walked in. Today, we've shown you a WhatsApp conversation between Mr. Jakpa and Godfrey Dame, dated 16th February 2022. Mr. Jakpa was first arraigned before the High Court on the 18th of January 2022 and granted bail. A month after, he texts the Attorney General to thank him for the intervention he made in getting him bail, which is another conversation. And then he says, I would want an opportunity to meet you at your convenience. Then the AG says, I will meet you through your brother. Who is his brother? A Supreme Court judge.
Right.
So when the AG tells you that I never knew this man, it is a Supreme Court judge who invited me to his house, and I went there and this man just came there, he lied. This is how dishonest this man we called Godfrey Dame is. This is how dishonest. Now he talks about plea bargain. Look, first of all, you must understand that there is nothing unlawful about plea bargain. Ghana has passed a law. Even before we passed that law, the Courts Act enjoin lawyers to at all times endeavor to settle litigations out of court. So to set proposal for settlement is normal. That is why they will always title it without prejudice.
Right.
It doesn't mean that I am guilty, but let's settle.
Right.
Okay? Now, the first proposal for plea bargain or settlement in this matter came from Big C LLC.
The company
that
supplied
supplied the ambulance.
ambulance.
Which company is not even being prosecuted. They are not a party to the case in court.
And I'm sure that's the reason why the AG department...
And the letter is dated 27th April 2023. Right? Mr. Dame was arranging meetings with Jakpa 16th February 2022 in the residence of a Supreme Court judge when no proposal for settlement had been made. So if he tells you that, oh, I was engaging him because of plea bargain, that is the word of a liar. No, let's stay on plea bargain for 1 minute.
Oh, right. I appreciate that because of
1
time.
minute. Yeah.
Okay.
Aside that, you see the evidence of the communication. 17 July 2022. There had not been any proposal or request for plea bargaining. 17 July 2022. Now, even when the proposal for plea bargaining was made, 3 proposals, one from Big C, the second from Mr. Jakpa, the third one, revised proposal from Mr. Jakpa, all of them were rejected by the Attorney General.
Right.
Rejected.
True.
So the court said, because you have rejected it, you've not settled this matter, I am proceeding to adjudicate the matter. And that is why the matter is being heard in court. And that is why Jakpa is testifying.
Okay.
So on the 9th of April, when Dame called Jakpa for 26 minutes and he recorded him, Jakpa was going to court to testify. There was no plea bargaining, because if there is plea bargaining, the court will give an adjournment.
Absolutely.
That go and negotiate when you get a settlement, and inform the court. This one, the man was going to court to testify. So like those corrupt people, they do in fixing matches. Somebody is coming to court to testify. The AG calls him. Now look, you are coming to testify. This letter of credit will come. No, you have to answer the question this way. It doesn't create any difficulty for you. The man said, no, that is wrong because of A, B, C, D. He said, no. But if you go about it this way, it doesn't create any difficulty for you. If you accept the deal, the man is coming to testify.
We have to go.
And the words of it, Elton,
yes.
It's not about what the MPP says. The words of it is that he tells the accused, go and lie to a court, forge a medical excuse duty that you're sick when he knows him to be well. This man is a criminal.
All right, so...
And he'll be prosecuted one day.
And tomorrow we'll have more time to deal with this matter.
Yeah.
And Sammy is going to be on Top Story on Joy 99.7 FM. We'll also wait and hear from the MPP. The bigger question is the implications of this on judicial integrity and fairness in this country. It's a very big issue that we need to get to the bottom of it. And of course, when the MPP is ready, we'll be with that news conference live here on Joy, and of course on Joy 99.7. Until then, that's been our show for today. My name is Elton Bobby. Have a good evening. Take care as we continue this very important discussion.